welcome back to Happy Health Hour, everybody. Guess who's with me this week? Yes, you've guessed it. Linda is here. Dr. Maria is here. And Dr. P is here. I have a question before we start, which is really a segue into what we're going to be talking about. Linda, how did you sleep last night?
Oh, like a baby, up every 2 hours.
She got up every hour and she cried.
Every 2 hours.
Got up every hour and she cried. What about you, Dr. P? How did you sleep? Because I know you've got a little bit of a sore throat and something going on.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's not
you.
this.
Oh,
No, I slept well. I
Did you?
think all the work that is being done. I've been busy, but I got good sleep.
Okay. And Dr. M, how did you sleep?
I can't tell you. I don't remember a damn thing about it.
It must be good. It must have been good.
It was.
So you guessed it, folks. We are talking about sleep this week, and I'm going to go straight into it. I'm not going to talk about why is sleep important right at this stage. Why do we think, Dr. M? I'm going to come to you because I think you have all the answers usually about this sort of thing.
All the answers.
Dr. M, why are we all over the last few years talking about sleeping badly? Why are we all sleeping badly? And are we really sleeping badly? Or is it just that we're talking about it? What's happened?
Wow. Well, the reason we sleep is still mysterious. Number one, it has baffled human beings over the millennia. Still don't have the answers as to really why, but I think we're coming closer. We have to understand that sleep is a time when we are looking to kind of clean up our brains and bodies. I mean, basically, we've come down to, the brain has and the body has so much waste in it, so much that builds up after a day, just one day of all kinds of inputs. We have to kind of shut down and close shop so that we could clean up. It's like we close the store, we close the office so that, everybody can go home and restore themselves, go to sleep, and then come back. So the sleep is a time of cleanup and restoration. So we really have to kind of, wind down and clean up, repair, restore, and then get back into wakefulness again. There's been a lot going on in the past 5 years, you ask, now, Tej, about, just about everything. I mean, we've been hit so hard with just about every possible ball or bomb or, virus or whatever, that's been going on. So there's a lot, and people have been rather, overwhelmed, overloaded. And with all that stress, because that's the word, the key word, stress on the body, which is totally out of ordinary stress. It's very difficult to the body to wind down, and for many people to be able to just say, okay, lights out, I'm calm, I'm peaceful, I meditated, I'm good, I'm going to just go away for the next 7 to 10 hours or whatever sleep time they would normally have. And so it's really a lot of disruptive energies in the air that have impacted everyone, and not the least of which is electromagnetic fields and forces, which is the powerful, satellites and the cell towers and all of that Wi-Fi that's gotten into our brains and bodies. And it's really keeping people up and up for virtually all the time. It's just not shutting our brains down because it's just too much overstimulation. So that's kind of where I would start.
So you are definitely on the side of people are sleeping worse than they used to. It's not just that we're talking about it more. There are more stresses in the environment, and therefore we're sleeping much worse.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Okay. Linda, do you concur with that? Is that
I think it's certainly not a one size fits all proposition. I mean, some people in my own household, I have no trouble falling asleep and staying asleep for 7, 8, 9 hours if I can. While my husband, who is a physician, struggles to get 4 hours straight. And then he's up for an hour and a half, and then maybe out for another hour, and then he's up for another hour, and then he's out. But that's been a lifelong thing for him. Actually, that started, I guess, in his residency, which was up all of these guys because he was up for 36 hours straight, and so on and so forth. But I want to go back to what Dr. Maria said about why. Why is it so important? What does it actually do for us? And I think when you think about the body, the human body, as being the quadrillion cells that make us up, we're nothing more than masses of chemical reactions. So, and cyclical hormonal patterns, which are more chemicals that we actually create within our own body, and they're on a cycle. When we sleep, it's like a resetting. It's like, when I picture it, it's like, okay, everything's getting filed now. Everything that happened during the day, it's like giant file drawers are out and everything is getting put in there. But it's all being done chemically. And the sleep cycle affects or is part of that chemical cycling, the cortisol cycle, the whatever the cycles are. And so it's very necessary. We are a living organism made up of quadrillion of itty bitty living organisms. And all of it is controlled by chemical reactions. And the chemical reactions start the cycle, end the cycle, become the cycle, are the cycle. It's a very strange way to think of us as an individual living organism. All of those cycles mean something, and sleep is important for that reset.
Okay, got it, Linda. Thank you. Dr. P, with everybody sleeping badly, Big Pharma they have the answer, right? They have the drugs, right? They can make it all better, right?
Of course. Arms and hammer.
No, talk more. That was a sort of cryptic answer, but talk more about Big Pharma and their what how they help or not help with people sleeping better.
See, pharmacologic interventions are only of limited use. What we have lost is the art of sleeping. And there is a whole science to going to sleep. In fact, if you go to the ancient Indian tradition, there is a yogic posture in which you let go of everything and you become what is called a shavasana, where you completely let go of from every part of your body. You let go of all the stress and strain that you have in your system. Also, you learn to withdraw your awareness. Our awareness is too much on the surface, or it gets taken away by all the transitory happenings. The ability to withdraw even while we are functioning, and of course when we are sleeping, is important. And so how to sleep, how to withdraw yourself in sleep, how to follow your dreams, and to be able to understand where the dreams are coming from. The subconscious, we kind of just give it a name and forget it, but we need to become aware of it. And then as we grow aware of it, we find different dimensions that are part of us. We don't even understand it. So we use terms like the subconscious, the universal unconscious. There's a lot of depth to it, no puns intended. But then there is also the understanding that when you go into a deeper level of sleep, you reach a point which is a point of bliss, point of joy, which is our original state. And when you reach that, that is when your sleep is completely fulfilled. And if you reach that, then you get the full rest. And next morning you wake up and you are fully rested and you have reached, you even feel happy that you have had that experience of sleep. Now, if that depth is somehow affected by different factors, chemicals being one of them, just like drugs can make you sleepy, can put you to sleep, drugs can prevent you from sleep. And when I say drugs, I also include television shows. I include all the books
Okay.
that we read, exciting movies, drinks, stimulants, even alcohol, too much alcohol, and lack of exercise, lack of physical training. So it's a whole culture. Sleep cannot be taken out into just a limited aspect, and you say, okay, here, pop a pill. And even
Yeah.
those pills have side effects. Pills, as you mature, uh, which means the body changes in physiology and chemistry and all those. You have to respect that, and you have to also respect that sleep cycles cannot be customized. Everybody does not have the same sleep cycle, and you cannot say that, okay, 8 hours is what you need. Maybe you don't. So, maybe the caveman did not sleep 8 hours. Maybe the caveman woke up every hour to look outside, make sure there were no dinosaurs, which is what I do usually, and then go back to sleep and stay in that in that penumbral stage. Or like the dolphins, right? One part of the brain is sleeping, the other part is awake. So sleep, even in nature, is very
Very.
complex, diverse. So yes, there are medications which I don't recommend unless they're needed for some acute condition. Even then, there are natural things, natural herbs that can relax you, and those are preferable. Or things like melatonin, restore your cycle. Learning how good sleep hygiene can be followed. There's a whole process of putting yourself back into a good mode. And also cycles. We unfortunately, our cycles are messed up because we work all night when we are physicians, and then we sleep during the day, or students, or watching movies till 2 o'clock, or all kinds of things. So that quiet, peaceful living that was physically productive, emotionally calm, and mentally sedate is gone. Now we have to deal with something new, with not only technology, but increased velocity of our life. And there we need to learn how to slow down to a point where we can go to something deeper and be aware of something deeper.
That was a fabulous contextual masterclass about sleep. That was really quite brilliant. You should have a sore throat more often and sleep badly more often the night before a podcast, Dr. P, because that was truly fabulous. Wonderful. I mean it. That was truly amazing.
That was
That was a masterclass.
That's what sleeplessness does to you, sir.
So,
Insomnia.
so Dr. M, I want to come to you about Dr. P said he doesn't prescribe pharmaceutical drugs for sleeping issues unless it's chronic, acute. What are doctors doing? And what are you doing to deal with sleep issues in your patients? What are you advising, recommending, prescribing?
Yeah, I try to do at least the least amount of prescribing as possible because of what was said, that drugs can really alter you, and can alter your sleep. And it can alter your brain, really, because that's what it's doing.
Right.
Whether it's a sleep medicine or it's a medicine for another condition. But what I usually do is I talk about things that are more more natural to the body, more of the old traditional type of things where you basically go into a state of calmness, relaxation, turning things down, turning things off. I have people really shutting a lot of their systems off, like whether it's all the devices, turning the lights from blue down to dim or even red. Red light is actually conducive to sleep.
Okay.
It's blue light that comes and emanates from these devices that is disrupting our natural day night or day and darkness cycles. The circadian rhythm is thrown off by these blue light emitters, your cell phone, these machines, these devices, screens from wherever, and all these have blue light. And the sun is the best source of blue light, and that should be the only source technically, because blue light helps us, our bodies, make melatonin. And melatonin is one of the most important hormones for sleep and for many other bodily functions. So it's a very important in and of itself, and an intermediary too, for other body needs. But giving melatonin is one option that I'll use, but a very low dose of it, because people have the idea that more is better. They've actually studied this fairly closely in some prestigious universities, which showed that the lower the dose of the melatonin, the better. If it's going to be taken by mouth outside of the body, if you're going to take it inward rather than your own melatonin working for you, if it's not working for you, you need a small dose of it. So I use very low doses of it. The best way to build it up, again, is sunlight. So I encourage people to get out and really expose themselves, not just their faces and their hands. They need to be out there naked or with minimal clothing, which you know how acceptable that is. Um, so I tell them to find their place, whether it's in their home or they go to a nude beach or whatever it is, wherever they're going to be not arrested. So if we have people with minimal clothing, I mean, even just minimal shorts and a tank top is good, or some bandeau or something, that's very important. Get that sunlight. As we get older, sunlight is not as efficient in making vitamin D and stuff like that and all that. So, and it also is not as efficient in building up our melatonin, but it is good for melatonin buildup. And I encourage sunlight no matter what. And that's a big one right there. People should not be drinking stimulants, anything that would stimulate the body, caffeine, and shutting it down. Like if you want to have caffeine, have it earlier in the day, because it technically has a full day or 24-hour effect. But some people are so tolerant to it, they drink it, and it doesn't affect them. So, and they need so much higher doses of those. So, but I do discourage caffeine to any large extent. Of course, alcohol can disrupt sleep cycles. And what does that mean? I mean, you can drop and fall asleep after alcohol, but it'll interrupt your different stages of sleep. There are different stages of the sleep that you absolutely have to cycle through. There's non-rapid.
Can you describe those different stages of sleep?
Yes. So there are the non-rapid eye movement stages, of which there are three. We consider it N1, N2, N3. There are three stages of non-rapid eye movement. Then there's a rapid eye movement stage, and you have to go through all of those stages, and that whole cycle has to be repeated about 4 times in a night. And if it's interrupted by chemicals like alcohol or drugs, you will have an inadequate sleep. Gesundheit. You will have inadequate sleep, for true rest, for true cleanup of the brain, body, and restoration purposes. So it's interruptive in those stages. And the rapid eye movement is a very important stage of the cycle, because it's really deep. There's a lot of activity. Your eyes are moving rapidly. That's why they call it rapid eye movement. And but your body is paralyzed. You cannot act out what you see in your REM sleep. So you have to go through all those phases, and they cannot be interrupted. And once they are, your sleep is really screwed up.
Quick follow-up question, and then I want to ask Linda a question. The follow-up question is, what about doing exercise just before you sleep? So you make yourself so tired that you're bound to fall asleep. Is that a good thing, or is it neutral?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, exercise just before sleep is a little overstimulating. It's not recommended. Earlier in the evening would be fine. I exercise in the evening, and I sleep pretty well, but I can't say that for every single person. And as Linda pointed out, one size does not fit all. Some people can exercise and just drop and go. Um, and then there are those who they try to do anything, and then they're up for the rest of the night. So it depends on your body constitution, your type, your genotypes, and all that. They call them chronotypes with sleep. But you have to decide which is best for you. You'll know that if you exercise before you go to bed and you can't stay, you can't stay asleep. It's not right. But generally, in general, as a general rule, we don't recommend right before sleeping or an hour before sleeping, maybe a few hours before sleeping, and then just to kind of wind down and relax, meditate, or read a non-stimulating book, or don't watch a program that's going to, have your heart pounding in your chest.
Mhm.
So exercise, yeah, we would just be a little easier at nighttime. I mean, you could stretch and yoga and all that. That's cool. That's fine.
Yeah. Before I go on to Linda, you're obviously in competition with Dr. P, because that was also quite brilliant. People who are listening in or watching the recordings of these shows, my God, you guys have got it so lucky. This was not just great. It was brilliant. These last 20 minutes with Dr. P and Dr. M and Linda giving such amazing information in such a consumable, bite-sized way. Thank you, guys. Really quite brilliant. You're obviously in competition with one another because Dr. P did something brilliant. Dr. M followed up. You had to equal him and go a little bit better. So, Linda, over to you and see you can do match or improve. What if I want to go on to insomnia? What is it? What are the causes of it? Because I may be wrong, but insomnia is we're talking about sleep being crucial. If you're an insomniac, I mean, that must be debilitating. I'm not an insomniac. That must be debilitating. What is it and what are the causes?
Well, fortunately, I'm not an insomniac either. However, I know how painful it is because every now and then I have a bout of it in the middle of the night, where I wake up and no matter what I do, I cannot fall asleep. Now, I have been accused of falling asleep mid-sentence. So I have no trouble going to sleep, none whatsoever. But then, my nighttime routine is a very calming, I listen to audiobooks. I'll fall asleep and realize I missed 4 chapters, get up and go to bed. And the next day I search to see where the heck I left off the night before when I passed out. Insomnia is an extremely frustrating, debilitating issue. And what causes it, again, not one size fits all. It can be chemical. It can be caused by what you're eating or drinking. It can be caused by stressors. And what stresses one person may not stress another. It can be caused by grief, by depression, by anxiety. Again, and I just want to say this one more time, I sound like a broken record.
Wow.
It's all due to chemical imbalance. Some chemistry has things misfiring. So whether you have been exposed to too much blue light, I'm trying to explain that to people, turn off the damn television. You could leave the sound on, but don't leave the picture on. Whatever it is, it's of a chemical cause. whether it's anxiety causing too much of adrenaline or some of the other chemicals that are produced when we are anxious or afraid or hyped up, whether it's too much of the chemicals that are produced when we overexert ourselves, whether it's all chemical. And it's very frustrating. And we have to get to the root cause of what each individual's problem is that's causing their individual issue. Again, what is a problem for one patient may not even be anything to another patient. And in order to do that, the provider, the physician, the clinician has to know how to listen, has to know what questions to ask, has to learn not just hear, but to what a patient is saying. There are clues. They drop them all the time. If we're not present in the room when we're visiting with a patient and trying to get to the root cause, we will never get there. We'll never be able to solve their problem. But that's...
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. All three of you are on top form with your explanations this evening. Okay, one last question. It's the same question to each of you. One tip from each of you. We'll start with you, Linda, then we'll go to Dr. M, and we'll finish with Dr. P. One tip for something you do in your routine when you go to bed, which gives you a good restful evening. So what's your one tip?
Well, for myself,
Yes.
I leave the television. I leave the living room at 9:00 at night. I will go in, I will get undressed, I will do my whole nightly routine. I will sit in my comfy chair, and I will either work puzzles or listen to an audiobook or just in my comfy chair for about an hour. And if I don't fall asleep in the chair, I have gotten to a stage where I'm calm, I'm quiet, and I and I cross the room to my bed, get in, shut up. Oh, also, I turn off the overhead light. I have a smaller light that I leave on, so I dim the room as well for that 1 hour. That's my 1 hour. That's my time. That's my me time. I'm not moving around. I'm not interacting with someone. I'm listening. I'm calming down. And like I said, if I don't fall asleep in the chair, I just cross the room, get into bed, and I'm gone. See ya. So shutting down maybe a little bit earlier and
You're very wise. All of that you've described is very wise. You give yourself an hour to go from your active wake routine to your sleep routine. Very, very wise. I'm going to try and see if I can do something like that. Dr. M, what's your routine where you know that's the routine you follow? What's your one thing to get a good night's sleep?
Well, I'm sort of an oddball, but I'll try to give you a good idea. I generally have myself, just finishing out my work. I wear my blue blockers because I'm sort of working through the evening. So I think anybody who's working and doing their screen stuff, they should wear blue blocking glasses. And there are different shades of them. There's a lighter yellow, there's a darker yellow, there's an orange. So the later you go, the deeper the color should be. So it's got to almost look like red. So later in the day. So I definitely recommend blue blockers. Something that is very calming is an essential oil or more than one, right? There are different essential oils, lavender being one, vetiver is another, clary sage is another. We use Roman chamomile. There are different forms of chamomile. So there are different essential oils. Lavender probably one of the best for most people. And you can use it either inhaled. You can put a little under your nose. You can douse your sheets or your bedding with it. Some people, have it as an aromatherapy and next to their bed. The room should be black, completely black. It should be relatively cool, not too hot. All lights out, no night light thing. If you need a light at night, for anyone who is going to have to get up, because a lot of people do, a little flashlight, something you can grab right next to you. I think cell phones, all of that, I don't recommend them being anywhere in the bedroom unless you absolutely have to have it, because it's your only way of reaching out in case of an emergency. But shut the damn thing off at night, because that electromagnetic wave is coming and affecting your sleep. So I don't recommend any cell phone use. If somebody has a landline, if you have a wired phone, that's not a problem. It's the cell phone, and it's the phone that's in the cradle that's charging. Those are all electromagnetic fields coming into the room and into your brain. So these are some of the things that I would do. And another thing that people could do, really have a lot of trouble, perhaps take a nice bath or shower before bed, because then the body, it cools off. It's comforting, it's soothing, the bath, and then you cool off. And then you would go with a very light type of nightwear, and then go into cool sheets. That's very, very relaxing and conducive to sleep as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And Dr. P, we finished with you. What tips for good sleep? What's your routine? What's your one thing that you routine that you follow, which you can recommend?
One must train one's mind. That's important. Most people do not know the art of controlling the mind. Our minds are like what is it called? A snow globe. There's just everything is moving constantly. We're in a buzz. And we have not learned. Unfortunately, we got very smart. We are very clever, but we do not know simple things like bringing the mind to a calm, still state. One of the exercises that is an ancient approach is to learn to be a witness. And witnessing things as they are, witnessing how your mind is behaving, how things, actually witnessing oneself, and that the state of witnessing is actually quite impersonal. So one can see oneself, one can see the others, one has a 360-degree view of the world. And often that is needed because it allows the mind to slow down, because the energy that you're giving to the mind is completely diffracted, broken, like a spectrum of light. If you can bring it to a calm state, as Yogi Berra said, you can observe a lot by watching. So I think you will learn a lot if you are in that watchful state, and that allows you to go into a peaceful, deeper awareness. If nothing else, it allows you to go into sleep because the mind has now no power. It is not being given that enormous importance that we give to things in our social, cultural, intellectual lives. Also, reading. If you can read certain academic texts, that always helps me. So I'll read someone literary or philosophic. No heavy meals at night. No espresso. No major alcoholic beverages, and keep no television in your room. Don't be watching any shows. Don't be argumentative. Don't fight. And that is the usual, just learning how to sleep is meditation, by the way. In ancient India, it's if you learn how to go to sleep, you learn how to use those 6, 7, 8 hours to meditate. So it's an art. And it is a continuous process. Awake, dream, sleep. That's what you want to do. You'd want to discover that. And that requires tremendous self-development and refinement.
Well, I am going to use many of those tips for my sleep routine starting this evening. I thank you so much, Linda, Dr. M, Dr. P. This has been Happy Health Hour. I'm Dr. Desant, and we will see you next week. with our new topic. Until then, it's goodbye from all of us.